coming to you live from the largest British prison in the known universe. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
Welcome to the 211th episode of Destiny Down Under podcast. I, as every week, am your Uncle Flog Power Slave, joined by Mylan, I'm a Real Gamer Now Games, and this week, special guest, fucking Strike Marathon Champion, well, 1/3 of the Strike Marathon Champions, Butters. It's first time on here, dude. It's been probably overdue for a little while, but welcome, man. How are you?
Thank you. Good, thank you.
We're going to, just for everyone watching the video, Butters is like Sassy in that he actually isn't a real person. He's like an AI construct, so he doesn't have a face. So we just have a little still picture there. You can look at a picture of a bee for as long as you fucking want, or just listen to the audio version, which is probably friendlier. Anyway, now we're going to get to Butters.
Just look at Matt's face instead. That's probably better.
I had to hold in a laugh.
Why?
Because I glanced across at chat. Yeah, Butters like strikes are good and all, but let me tell you about my solo prophecy. Matt.
Absolute gamer.
Mylan fucking games, the gamer. You look, all right, okay. Look, we'll start from the start.
Mylan games without MLG, baby.
I don't know, but I'm sure there's other fucked words in there that I'm going to spend the rest of my afternoon fucking deciphering. All right, well, we're going to jump into Butters and everything Butters does in a minute, but we'll do our quick round the grounds, fucking how's everyone's week been? Why is it so dark in this it's like actually bright in here. I'm not a vampire. Well, I am a vampire, but anyway, I'll figure it out. Matty, you've had you've actually achieved something in Destiny this week. Shock fucking horror. You want to tell everyone about it?
Yeah, when did I start this whole... do I want to tell anyone? Mate, that's all we're talking about today. Anyway, I can't remember how did it start. I can't remember how it started. I thought I'll give Solo Prophecy a shot, and took a long time to just get through that. Probably a week, maybe. But I only really give it a 2-3 hours shot a day. Probably that.
Only 2 or 3 hours a day. Okay.
I'm such a fucking streamer now. Isn't that a casual amount of hours? Everyone's got 3 hours to spend every day to play Destiny. If you don't have all the gear, well, then what's wrong with you? Anyway.
Yeah.
So
I'm enjoying this gradual loss of perspective from you. It's fucking, it's like the world's turned upside down. Anyway. So you went in and you did it. You went in and had a go.
I went in.
Yep.
I went in and had a go. Got through it eventually. It was challenging. I was like, there's no way I can do that flawless. There's no way I can get through every encounter flawless. And as a joke, exactly. As a like, I don't know what to do for the rest of the day. As a joke, we'll give it a shot. Like first attempt on it or something, flawless, like down to second attempt. Absolute bee's dick, and I absolutely threw. I was in the final phase, and all I had to do was and I just ran into enemies, and I was like, okay, I can actually do this.
Yeah. So at that point, you got close enough to know that if you got the run, you were going to do it. Yeah,
and then made a couple of adjustments to the gear, and just slammed it today. Solo Prophecy flawless, baby.
Done it. And now you were into. You're making everyone endure watching you do Presage, right?
Presage.
Butters and I were sitting here going, no, he's got no hope. Much like
it's the time. It's the time.
Yeah.
It's not the doesn't feel, I don't know, I haven't got the end yet, but doesn't feel like challenging. It's the time on it. I don't know how you get that quick. You have to be snipping or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the art of it. My week.
It's a different skill.
Yeah, here we go. Look, we'll get into Butters'
speedrun.
He's the dude. Look, maybe we do that. That's the segment. We'll wrap this up. We'll talk about Butters, and then Butters can tell Matt how to actually get good instead of just like pretending that he's gotten good. We'll do that. My week, Butters is featured fucking heavily in my week, funnily enough. Because it started on last Saturday night with trials of people actually playing Osiris, right? Like, because of the Igneous Hammer being at 3 wins, there was this huge influx of people, right? And it made trials actually make sense for 1 week in its entire fucking existence, and it worked properly. And I played on all 3 characters, but on my Titan, the card that I played with Nick and Adrian, who I play with every week, we ended up getting flawless. But we were on the what? Yeah, we went just no carries, nothing. Just our team that we always play with went and did that. But our 6th win game or whatever it is, the last game that we needed to win, I came up against Butters and his team. And it went to 4-4. It was close as hell, and I fucked up a super at the end and fucked it for us and lost. But I thought that we didn't have our mercy, but we did. So we got to play the next game and win. So I was...
Oh right, I thought you beat him, and then what did you do? Fucking send him a text on fucking chat and go, oh, if you want to meet a couple of real gamers, go on the DDU podcast, you scrub.
No, not at all. I mean, the narrative of this week is that Butters has kicked my ass at just about everything I've set out to do.
Oh right.
So I thought, look, I'll bow in submission and get the man on the podcast because he's a champion anyway. We'll do that. But that was trials last week. But I mean, I guess there's a little bit of hope that it'll be much the same again because the messenger is at 3 wins, and I think a lot of people will be chasing a desperado role on that. And I don't know that it'll quite be as successful as Igneous Hammer week, but I feel like there might be some population, increased population is probably the
I would like to give it a crack, but it involves,
You gotta stop playing in the morning like a fucking weirdo.
Oh, I know. This is the thing. I get on my game done in the morning, and by the time it gets after, then I'm done. Like I don't feel like getting on again.
Yeah, I know. You're
a PvP gamer. So.
I am a PvE guy. Wait, PvP or PvE? I'm a bit of both.
I mean, a bit of Taki. I used to watch you do.
Oh, you fucking
Matty can sweat.
Taki viewer.
I didn't see this PvE. Like, I mean, I knew that. I think the whole thing that has like spurred this revival of Mylan games playing lots of Destiny is me nagging him, saying that he would enjoy Grandmasters. That's actually what started all of this. And now it's like I don't even know that you'll get to the Grandmasters because you're doing all the dungeons and stuff. So who gives a fuck?
Are you high level?
That's the thing. Like I wanna do Grandmasters. I can't bring myself to do boring shit to get pinnacles. That's my issue. I can't be fucked. I honestly can't.
That's the hard
part. What level are you?
I'm 13. Oh, I don't know what it is about the artifacts. My gears just started dropping at 1306.
You'd be
it includes the
close,
artifact.
then.
You need 1325.
Yeah, you need 1325 artifact included.
I might be 13. I don't think I'm 1320 yet.
You'd be closer than I am. I'm only getting 1305 drops and shit. So I don't know. I mean, we're probably at about the same point, honestly. But you're not far off.
I need to do some raids. That's what I need to do. I need to do raids with you boys.
Yeah, and Iron Banner because every Iron Banner drops a pinnacle. So.
I've already got my pinnacles from that.
Look at this fucking little sweat lord over here. Oh, I've done all my PvP for the week. Fucking getting in there, slapping some low light peasants. Yeah, look at you. Toxic fucking games. All right, let's dive into talking to Butters about Butters because Butters, while he's kicked my ass a lot this week, he's fucking pretty excellent. So, Butters, dude, if you could sum yourself up in your own words, and I know that this is the least fair question you can ever be asked. What would you say Butters is about?
Yellow and slippery.
That and
delightful.
A lot of PvE stuff is what I mainly do. I don't usually do PvP. You caught me at a very rare time doing trials. I was one of those few who only jumped in because the Igneous Hammer was there. But normally it's a lot of solo prophecy, solo GMs, helping people out with GMs as well.
So you've come into Matt's life at probably the best possible time then, because you could actually help him. That's right. But
I can tell you right now, everyone's got a fucking opinion in chat when it comes to PvE.
Oh, dude.
Everyone's got an opinion of the setup.
I can see how you've adapted to that because like I was there for literally 20 minutes trying to talk to you and you didn't even notice that I was there. So I think not reading anyone's shit in chat while you're doing something like that is perfectly acceptable and probably the way you need to go about it. So if your butt hurt that Stimmer didn't read my comment, we'll just fucking toughen up. So, Butters. Now, we had the strike event through the week, which was a lot of fun.
Wait, hold on. Can we back up a bit?
Why?
Butters said he mainly does PvE.
Oh no, I'm segueing into it.
And he still beat you in trials.
Hey, I was being carried, all right?
Yeah. You didn't even notice the backhand. He's like, oh, I never play PvP. After you tell the story, you're getting absolutely whooped by him.
I didn't.
It was 4-4. It wasn't absolutely whooped.
That and I was trying not to draw attention to it. So thanks, mate, for doing exactly that. I was trying not to do the Streisand effect of
Wait, before we go on to like the strikes and stuff, can I get a bit of backstory? Can I get a bit of lore? Bit of Butters lore. Give me a Butters origin story. Where's the name come from? When did you start streaming?
Ooh.
Why did you start streaming?
Name is very old. Like this is back in Halo 2 kind of era when that came out, playing it with my best friend at the time. His gamer tag was Noodle because he liked beef noodles and I like buttered popcorn. So it's Butters.
Butters.
It's actually good. That's good.
That's actually probably, this makes more sense than most people's names.
It's simple. It's simple. It's got a good ring to it too, Butters.
It does make me think about the dude from South Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone asks. Asks. Oh, Butters from South Park. Yeah.
It's a good name. Okay. And so when did you embark on the Twitchicals, Twitch streaming?
I've been playing Destiny since Destiny 1, and I got into Twitch I think year 3 mainly in Destiny. Started playing raids with people and just hanging out in communities, and people kind of mentioned, oh, hey, you like helping people with stuff, you should stream, do that kind of stuff. So tried it. Australian internet said no. Waited until NBN. When I got NBN,
still said no.
So we gave it a go. But yeah, it was mainly because I was hanging out in other communities who were doing a lot of PvE help, and I was
I see you
helping
everywhere,
streamers, helping other people and stuff like that, just being part of communities.
Yeah, I see you around everywhere. Butters.
That's a pretty wholesome origin story, to be honest. Like to evolve out of just wanting to help people and now helping people on a larger scale by not only helping people like by actually playing with them, but I think there's merit in just being that kind of person in the community that's willing to take the time to explain things to people. And there's not enough of it that goes on. I think it's great, dude. I've learned from you for sure. So, so at what point did you go, nah, I need to dive in and do this? And like, dude, honestly, you're killing it. You're doing incredibly well with streaming. Like, at what point did you go, nah, this is a thing that for not just because people are telling me to, but that I want to do and that I want to pursue?
I was playing around with it at the start, just kind of, getting my feel for it. But there was a lot of support from the communities that I was a part of that like just came in, hung out. So it kind of motivated me to keep going, basically. And then since COVID stuff happened and lost my job back in November, I just kind of went full time and thought, why not see what we can do with it, see how far we can take this. So,
well, you'd kind of incidentally done the groundwork before that, like it's one of those things where it's turning a positive out of something that's it's shitty. I mean, everyone's been through it over the last couple of years. I mean, when you think about Australia, we had the bushfires and shit that were going 2 years ago, nearly now. So it's been a wild time, but to be able to do that and spin it into potentially a super positive thing for yourself, I think is fucking admirable, dude.
I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you, Butters.
Oh.
I'm seeing a lot of comments about marbles in chat here.
Yeah. I've been playing marbles for longer than you. I'm just going to say that.
He's gonna pull that card on me. Oh yeah, maybe. Oh fuck. Okay, all right. I'll shut my
Play
mouth.
marbles every day when I eat my dinner.
Do you know that like Matt is
Check the VOD.
completely immune
Check
to
the
any kind of like copyright infringement or that because like there's
He
no
always
court
thinks he's invented it.
yeah there's no court in the land that can prove that Matt has actually ever seen anything before he invents it himself because he's never been in anyone's stream doing anything other than the things that Matt does. He has no capacity to copy people because he doesn't know that other people exist.
Like you are right.
I know I'm fucking right.
It hurts me a little bit that it's like that, but it is true.
Well, it's one of those things that I've never seen anyone as iron focused on shit as Matt gets on Matt's stuff. I'm the opposite. I get nothing done because I'm so fucking distracted. Matt, just like, I've got stuff on. And you go, okay, cool. What have you got on? Oh, he's already gone. See you in a week.
See you next week.
Yes, I'm fucking going harass him to do the podcast at 2 minutes to 2 on a fucking Saturday afternoon. That's the way it is. But look, anyway, bringing it back to Butters and dude,
Strike.
You did the raid race. You did the raid race. And I know that it's going away back now, but given that you're a PvE dude, how do you rate that race and sort of like the amount of people involved in it and all that sort of stuff in terms of the history of Destiny raid races? It's not very often we get really competent people on. I think the last time we did was, like Soto and Altera and that. So we'll make the most of it.
Deep Stone Crypt. Like a lot of people obviously talk about, it was easier and, Emblem got given out to lots of people, but I see that as a positive. I want more people participating because that means more competition. And you should never be like, oh no, we need to limit the competition. We need to limit the field. No, we want more people participating because that means, it's more fun.
Oh, I mean, look,
better races, better
exactly.
people.
And even you look at trials last week, more people makes things gooder. It's, that's the truth of the Destiny universe, I think.
And look at you two. You two aren't doing GMs because you can't be bothered leveling in time. If the raids were like that, where they were really hard to get to level, and there's only a select few that are even bothering to get to level and trying, then the races aren't going to be as fun. It's going to be less people participating.
Yeah, I think that's a huge factor. I hope that they continue to, and I can't see Bungie sort of going back on this. I feel like if anything, they'll make it more accessible next time. I think that there was,
and I've seen other people comment as well, like Atrax was a wall for a lot of players that they didn't get past Atrax. So if you were able to finish and get the emblem, you beat Atrax as well. You deserve the emblem. So
yeah, I think
can't
totally
really
agree. I like that Atrax was there because that was where we got up to, and it was like this brutal point that most people. Well, no, I'm not going to say most people. I'm sure that a fair percentage did, but we've got the excuse that we were drinking all morning, and then we got to Atrax, and it was the same place that most other people got up to. So we can be like, which is basically it. We're, not very good, but can drink. I guess that's.
I think the takes originally that came from too many people got the emblem were just when you look at individually, okay, how many people got the emblem for Garden versus Crown of Sorrow versus Deepstone Crypt. There's a lot of emblems for Deepstone Crypt, but there's a lot of factors into that, more people participating. For Crown of Sorrow, hardly anyone participated. You had to grind for 6 hours as soon as the season started to get up to light level to even participate. So that's why only like 500 emblems got given out for that one.
So the changes that they're making to the grind next season and in the seasons sort of going forward, excluding big raid releases, bigger major DLC releases, we should say. You're in agreement with that? You think that's a good move?
Yeah, I think the 10 light level's still good. You're still going to have the problem, though, of people getting ready for GMs. You still have to grind your artifact out. So I guess as long as you're playing a lot, you'll probably get to GM level quite easily now. But if you're not spending a lot of XP in the game, like getting a lot of XP, then you might have to grind some of those levels.
It'll be interesting to see where they set them.
GM?
Sorry, Matty, here you go.
Look, as someone who now is really interested in actually having a shot at Grandmasters, and I just look at the grind and it's like, now I'm like, oh God, I got to do 3 characters now because I'm not getting the gear I need for my pinnacles. Or I got to spend, hours doing just bounties so I can get my artifact level up. Like, what's your thoughts on the pinnacle grind? And obviously, right now, like Log and I can't do Grandmasters, and pretty keen to give that content a shot.
Well, I think it's got contest on it anyway, so I don't care what light level you should be able to enter as.
Yeah, it's kind of
because you
funny
should just
in
be
that
25
respect, isn't
levels
it?
below the whole time.
Yeah, because that's it. Like it locks you. Like you've got to hit 1325, and then it locks you at a maximum of 1325. Like there's no.
So if they just change that to 1315, and you're locked at 1315, like it's irrelevant. Like, it doesn't matter.
Zero
They're
for all it matters.
artificially making you get to that level, saying you have to play this much in the season to be able to do GM. And yeah, I don't
that's
think
what I was
good.
sort of thinking too. Is just sort of like, now that I've actually played something that I actually find challenging, and it's like nice to just play it. Like it didn't really, the power level wasn't a thing. It was more about how the encounter was set up and making sure it's just a nice balance of being difficult and not being so stupid bullet sponge. You don't just want to sit behind a box and do that.
Yeah.
Snopping.
I think Adrian has just come in and fucking hit the nail on the head. Turns out the numbers in Destiny don't actually need to be there. Like the light level grind in and of itself, like, whoa, cool. And sure, it gives you that sense of like day on day progress and building of your character, but they could just delete it tomorrow and there could be no light levels and it would be that all the fun parts would still be there and it'd still work the same, right?
I was thinking that. I was like, people would still play for focusing on stat rolls and fucking weapon rolls, and then everything would be standardized for encounters.
Yep.
There wouldn't be any barrier.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
And
I
you know
think
what you would focus on then? Everyone would then the 100% of the focus would be on having right stats and the right roles and the right setups between your team, rather than being overpowered or whatever, or underpowered.
Yeah, I'd rather focus on stats and rolls of guns than some arbitrary number that doesn't matter.
I totally agree. All right, here's the big question. Here's the $1 million question, Butters. What's your favorite piece of, I'm going to say PvE content, because that's where you live. What is your favorite thing, not just in Destiny right now, but throughout the course of Destiny? What is your favorite activity? I know. It's always one of the things.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And that's why I asked it, because we're here to ask the hard-hitting questions.
Said no one ever.
Raids are always where Destiny is at its best, incorporating mechanics and coordination with teams. So I'd say raiding definitely is the highest one. It's hard for me to rank the raids as well. So I think Last Wish is one of the best raids, but then Deepstone Crypt's just fun.
Yeah.
The mechanics are a lot easier. I'd consider Deepstone Crypt one of the easiest raids to teach other people, but they're just fun mechanics to do, and the raid itself is just visually great. So
it's an interesting
I kind of
way to
rank
look
them
at
all
it.
differently.
It's an interesting way to look at it, because I think like Last Wish, if you're looking at a Destiny raid in the context of like it being the most intimidating, like difficult endgame thing, then Last Wish at the time Last Wish dropped.
It'd be like the pinnacle raid would be Last Wish, yeah.
But to have Deepstone Crypt where it is now, it's a great I don't want to say entry level raid, because that sounds like a fucking really backwards statement to have an entry level end game content thing, but it kind of is that. Like it is more forgiving, and the mechanics are simpler, and you can give people a job that's relatively repetitive through the course of the whole thing, and it works. So I think as much as Deepstone Crypt dropped years after Last Wish, it makes a great lead into that kind of the raid level teamwork, if it's people who aren't like particularly familiar with fighting in that environment.
I'm still curious how VOG's going to fit into it, though, because mechanically VOG is quite easy. Like if you look at each encounter, the mechanics are very simple and straightforward. all you need to do is kill oracles or like kill, what are they called again? Things that spawn. Anyway, they're not oracles.
Yeah, they're oracles. No, aren't they oracles? The fucking things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when you transferred through time, they're oracles.
Yeah.
In the fun room.
One encounter is just kill them. Like, it's not mechanically that hard, so I just wonder how it's going to fit into the whole thing, whether it's a free-to-play raid or...
Yeah, I reckon the Destiny community are a lot more competent and have way higher expectations of raid mechanics
since
the release. Yeah, I've never really thought that. Vog's like stand on plate, sneak through Gorgons, shoot oracles, Templar. What's a Templar? Oh, Templar. At least you have a single person with the
shield.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Yeah. That's gonna be fun.
I feel like they're pitching it largely as like, for us who were there when it first came out, it's a nostalgia trip. But I reckon Butters is onto something that, the free-to-play raid, the real entry-level raid, which, was Destiny's first raid and was everyone's entry point. I think it would function great in that space because it is so simple. It'd be a really effective sort of entry-level beginning raid. I do wonder if it's
going to be free, though. Is it going to be a free-to-play one, or is it going to be purchase season content?
I guess we're going to have to wait to find out. That's the hard part about all of this. Speculating and shooting from the hip. There's very few answers. A lot of questions. All right, look, I'll stop fucking distracting from the fact that we had the ANZ Strike Marathon on Wednesday night, which was a shitload of fun. Honestly, it was one of those things that, like, I don't think there's much that you can do on the internet instead of in person that would catch the vibe of something like PAX. But sort of getting it was just fucking chaos. Like there was a voice chat with about fucking, I don't know, like what, 18, 21 something people in it, and just having a good time, catching up, and it was an incredible night. I was with Soto and One Chance, and they dragged me kicking and screaming through just about everything. I was just running along after these two warlocks floofing and like doing what they do. I'm just with my chubby little Titan legs just skittling along trying to keep up. But when I saw on the release of the teams that you, Butters, were with Ortera and Alpha, I thought, shit, that's the team to beat. And it turned out that no one would. So congratulations on the win. But how did you find it, man? Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was cool because I hadn't really played with Terra or Alpha before. So I think the way that they were just mixed up the teams and got you to play with, people that you weren't familiar with, and got to practice with them and do the strikes and stuff like that. It was a very cool competition.
I think
how did the scoring work?
It was all timed. It was basically off the time. There was like challenges, one you could only use shotguns, which honestly I'm probably only ever going to use shotguns in strikes from now on because I had so much fun with it. So it was just basically overall time. There was I think the proving ground one was, we had time deducted for precision shots and orbs created or whatever, but for the most part it was time. And what, you guys were like a minute ahead or a minute and a bit ahead or something, 2 minutes ahead.
I think second place was like 30 seconds behind or something. It wasn't too much, but
so like, okay, right.
I know that Sassy's team beat me by 30 seconds.
We had a world record speedrunner in our team with Terra, so kind of helped.
Yeah, he is an absolute machine, and like, you're no slouch yourself, and neither's Alpha. So I was like, okay. Well, I looked through every other team, and I'm like, that's a really good mix of people. Like, people who are experienced, people who are going to learn from this, and all of that. My team, like One Chance and Soto are guns, and I'm, going to just try and keep up because strikes aren't my deal. But I don't know. I just feel like it's, obviously there's, we're not talking about it yet, but there's definitely things, irons in the fire for doing stuff like that more often. And I think that it just goes to show how awesome the community is in terms of, like, everyone's different ages, different, in different walks of life and all that sort of stuff. And we can all get in and it doesn't matter for shit because we're all just happy to be there. Except Matt. Obviously, Matt's just too Hollywood and important to be doing any of this shit, man. Oh no, I'm being nasty. I'm sorry.
I was finishing my PhD.
What's that? What do you need that for? Just garbage. Can't play video
I
games.
don't need that. That's the whole fucking point. Now that I'm rocking out flawless solo prophecies, you wait. Exclamation mark points will carry people through grammar.
All right, look. Before we get into the news, I'm going to put Butters on the spot here. Again, I've been making a habit out of that for the first half of this podcast. But given that we were sitting watching Matty do his pressage, and you're a dude who's pretty skilled in that kind of activity, what do you think Matty was lacking in his run today?
Oh,
I think you're coming out of the dungeon, which
different
using
mindset.
invis is very handy. Staying alive, there's not a lot of cover. You need to kind of play around that in the dungeon. This activity, you need a push.
Yeah.
You need to go through the ads quickly. So sometimes invis is handy to stay alive, but it's not necessarily handy to push through a lot of the ads. Sometimes using other builds are helpful.
What do you recommend?
If you're going hunter, I use golden gun. Celestial.
Big boy. Which one?
Yeah. Celestial. With
Top, is that what? Be real specific.
I can't remember. It's either
top tree or
It'd be top tree, but the Celestial Nighthawk is the hunter helmet that makes it like 10 times more powerful. Yeah.
Top tree. All right. Got it. Next time. Put a prediction on.
But either way, it's tough. Like the timing is tough.
Dude, some of those fucking enemies too look super spongy. Like they're just
spongery.
soaking up the damage like a fucking.
What's your gun loadout?
I had Anarchy.
What's your other gun loadout?
Did you see him just die inside there?
And a blinding grenade launcher to avoid blinding grenade launcher.
Oh, we need to chat more, I think. All right, move on to the next question.
I'm telling you, blinding nades are the most underrated perk in PvE.
What do you do with them? Blind them?
Yeah, none of the enemies shoot you for like 5 seconds.
What slot is it?
Massive radius. Energy. There's either two. There's Truth Teller or All Rings Maul from Iron Banner. Both have blinding nades.
You could probably farm one this week if you wanted to.
I think I've got one. Actually, no, I probably got rid of it because Sassy was like, nah, not a god roll, and deleted everything.
They're super strong in PvE. People sleep on it.
Sassy wouldn't know.
Wow.
PvE, though he did beat me in the strike contest, but still. I think you're right. I think anything that can stop you being shot for a little while is fucking incredibly powerful.
Well, that's why I used to do the war cell, the Warmind cells, but I guess that's basically a Warmind cell that blinds everyone.
Yeah, it's like cellular suppression on the Warmind cell, except you don't need to spawn a cell. You can shoot it whenever you want. You can like shoot it, change to your heavy, do some damage, switch back, shoot another one to.
I'm opening Dim right now. What am I looking for?
Either Truth Teller
after this episode, Matt's getting a fucking loadout makeover. Does it have blinding?
Does it have blinding?
Blinding nades, quick draw, rangefinder.
Oh, great.
Ooh, there you go.
Auto loading's better, so you don't have to reload it each time. But
true.
That does.
It's all right. Just put loader perks on your shit. You'll get through it.
Yeah.
You'll be right. All right, let's jump into this week at Bungie because there was a little bit that happened this week at Bungie, even though it's kind of a light twab. So let's. I'll hit the sting and we'll come back and we'll fucking talk about it. How about that? All right, hey, this week at Bungie, it's diplomacy or death. That's right. We got the new Proving Ground Strike, boys. Now, I hadn't experienced this strike at all before the strike race. So we escaped out of it and went straight into the next fucking activity without watching the clip at the end. So I had to jump onto an esoteric video halfway through stream afterwards because everyone wanted to talk about it and watch the cutscene at the end. But Matty, have you played through the Proving Ground Strike yet?
Huh?
Have you not played through the Proving Ground Strike?
Wait, this is just the campaigny mission?
Yes, the new strike.
Yeah, with the cutscene at the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have done that.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes. I did yell at chat a little bit.
Why?
Well, I, in my smooth brainness, didn't understand the law, and you know what happens when that happens.
Ah,
He
yeah.
gets angry.
It's like when your parents make a mistake when you're a kid, and then and you just jump on them for all it's worth. I imagine that's what your chat did in precisely that instance.
Like, when the ghost gets shot,
Yeah.
I didn't remember. Like, I was like, "Where's that come from?" Like, oh, don't you remember fucking 2 weeks ago they spoke about in a tiny bit of text in a paragraph that is on page 3 that they were making bullets that captures ghosts.
Right.
Dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about. No, God, no. Like, fuck, seriously.
The light disrupting device.
Yeah, the light disruption device.
Like, fuck, Butters is here. Like, saving the shit. I mean, I initially thought watching it, I thought, fuck, there goes Zavala. He's going to have no light, and he's going to be like him and Osiris, just chilling back at the tower doing fuck all with no ghosts until they die of old age while we're out fighting their battles, which is basically what we do anyway. So it would change nothing in the game. But I thought it was, look, I've kind of come around a bit on Crow, right? Like, I didn't really like the character all that much. I didn't like here I am in a disguise, but it's basically just wearing a small mask and white track pants. I wasn't sold on it. But I do think that the most important part of Crow, and he, obviously he'll go on to be a significant character in the franchise, but it's that, like, there's been some question marks over Zavala in terms of, I don't know how to word this, but like sometimes he seems a little bit like hypocritical and shit. But in this instance, he fully just accepts, a guy that looks exactly like Uldren for what he says he is. And I think that it's important and powerful in terms of like, okay, well, he as the leader of the Vanguard walks the walk. That's what I took out of it more so than like I've seen everyone's collages of the execution at the end of Forsaken and and him extending the hand, and it kind of to an extent closes that arc. It's very typically Bungie kind of beautiful sort of playing around of the themes there. But that was what I took out of it. It was more for me about Zavala than it was about Uldren. Or Crow. I've got to stop calling him Uldren. It's a hard habit to break. But that was what I got out of it. What did you guys get out of it? Did you think it came to a conclusion that did it service, that did it justice?
I think my brain, I do like the scene. I think what's hard about it for me is there's so many gaps in between, and like you see Crow standing there with Zavala, and my brain's like, oh, Zavala knows he's Crow, but it's not until like, oh, that's right, no one fucking knows it's Superman. He's got the fucking glasses on. Like, no one recognizes it's fucking Crow. Do you know? Like, there's a little bit of that has to happen for it to work. Yeah. And he's just like, he's not even. Isn't he meant to be like secretly protecting Zavala?
Yeah, but he's just standing there 2 feet behind him. I mean, he was put on his security detail, right? Like, that was the thing. He was put there as his bodyguard, right. And like, but like, are you really going to trust a bodyguard in this kind of intense situation that you don't even know who they are? Like, I mean, there's some suspension of disbelief that has to happen to get to the point of really enjoying this. I mean, if I'm Zavala and I want a bodyguard, it's not the Crow, it's literally our character because we kill fucking everything. Okay. I don't know. I thought it was good.
What's Crow's secret name? Does he have like a Clark Kent name that he tells everyone, like when he's sitting right next to Zavala being his bodyguard?
I think it is Crow. I think that's what.
I think it's Crow.
That's what the name is.
I mean, he doesn't have another name.
Wait, so you're telling me Zavala knows he's called Crow, but didn't know it was Uldren?
Apparently. But then,
all right.
Ikora obviously worked it out. They said that later, that Ikora knew it was him.
Yeah, the end of the cutscene.
Exactly.
Where you're back at the tower and he's like, you and Osiris knew, and so did Ikora, and so did you. And I felt like like when I just caught one of my kids going through the pantry eating biscuits just before they go to bed. Like, hey, I know what you're doing. Put it back. It was good. I like it when Zavala's the dad of Destiny.
Right. But apart from that, like, I think, I don't know. I've been trying to have this conversation with chat. Like, do we like drip fed? Because I've seen people saying it's the best story they've ever told through a season. It definitely is better than previous seasons. I still don't like doing some activities, but there's been a really good mix of different storytelling with voiceover and holograms and mini cutscenes and this, that, and the other. A little bit of like build up before, go do 3 battlegrounds. Go do 3 battlegrounds and smash the chest.
It's a bit of a solid, especially that one on fucking Nessus, because it just goes for forever. Especially if you're just loading into it by yourself and you're carrying randoms through it, which it's worrying when I'm carrying anyone through anything, to be perfectly honest. But the other day I went and did it. I jumped on Wednesday to try and knock the battleground over quickly so that I had access to the proving grounds, because I was worried I wouldn't for the strike race. And I was just like, man, it fucking takes so long. I feel like if they're going to do an activity like that again, they could probably shorten it by about a third, and it'd sit in a much better spot in terms of because you don't really get anything out of it. Like, you get kind of middling gear, and it's more about racking up
and a hammer
completions.
Charge.
Yeah,
but you still need 5 of them to,
do anything,
get anything good.
Yeah. It was good because you sort of, I mean, I really like Kaido, and they obviously gave her a whole backstory in the lore, and you obviously have a returning character, Crow. So there's lots of moving parts in this season that were there to keep you interested. And the finale, she's joined us. I guess this is the point we've always been in. We see something like this, but how does that play out in game?
Yeah.
Right. So she's not an ally. What did she do? What did Zavala describe Kaido as? And
it's
he
like
said something like not an ally, like an allegiance or
an allegiance or whatever it was, but more or less saying the enemy of my enemy is my friend, kind of like an uneasy truce.
Until they're not.
Yeah. And obviously at some point that will happen, but I think like this could have been flipped on its head if all of a sudden like Battlegrounds just finished once you'd done that strike and became against other enemies or something. I don't know. That, like, I think that's always the hard part to translate from story elements like that, is that, Kaido's now, okay, cool, we're effectively on the same team. I respect you. We're going to find whoever ordered the shot to be taken and beat the shit out of them behind the fucking grandstands at the football field. But
because you don't know who they did that, yeah, do we?
Oh, who do you reckon did it? Papa.
Callus?
Of course. Who else?
He's dead, cunt. Read the law. Didn't you watch my last video?
No. Who else?
People think it's the Scions related to the Sundial stuff.
Oh, yeah, shit. I'd forgot that they even existed. To be honest,
then they launched the Almighty into the last city, and then we stopped that. So the kind of thing.
There is particular reference paid to the why they are still there in that instance, in the strike, right? Like, you'd think that they would have run when they had the opportunity. Why did they hang around? Well, maybe it was to get close enough to take this, to do that. Okay, look, I'm just going to do a classic log power slave TM backflip on my beat it and fucking move on.
That's a lore video. I reckon that's a lore video. Thanks, Butters. You got any other ideas, mate? Got any other ideas, mate?
Well, okay. Keitel is, wanting to fight the Hive, and we know Witch Queen's coming. What's going to happen with Keitel, us, and Witch Queen?
Nah, it's not good enough. Next topic.
There's too much unknown in that. Like, that's the issue.
Yeah,
maybe next season, as we're like really starting to spearhead into what comes in that big, like we'll be effectively in this year's season of Arrivals, where it was heavily telegraphing what was to come. I think we might be able to do something more along that line, but I don't know. I mean, I wish that Destiny would do that to a greater extent, in that, like, we now have an alliance with Keitel and her forces, but we're still going into Battlegrounds and kicking the shit out of them for fucking next to no reward. And like, there's kind of this awkward balance of things. I feel like if it changed at that point and became about, putting other enemies in there or something like that, I feel like it would have been an incredible touch, but obviously very hard to implement.
Because what I was going to say, is in the new law.
Yes.
There is a very specific scene which doesn't really seem to have purpose until you probably make up a theory like this, where they steal the ship and they have this whole interaction between Scions where a Scion from the Red Legion, even though they're meant to be guarding the Cabal ship, lets one of Callus's Scions steal the ship. And then they give this whole dialogue that the Scions are still trying to be free of the Cabal or whatever. And they hold allegiance to each other more than the Red Legion or Keitel or anyone.
I mean, they're effectively a slave army, right? Like,
they are, yeah.
For sure, they're waiting for their opportunity to get out from under the boot of.
But I don't know why. They're super powerful.
Yeah, I mean, they're the biggest pain in the ass you face, right? Like, they'll pick you off from a distance.
They both serve the Cabal, and having Callus and Keitel fighting each other makes both of them try harder, so it makes the Cabal stronger overall. Like, forces are stronger when they're in conflict.
True.
If they were both just sitting idly by, the Cabal would be weak, but having the internal fighting makes them all stronger.
Strong boys.
I thought just circling back to Proving Grounds, I thought the boss was fucking insane. Probably the scariest looking Cabal we've seen.
This is very cool.
Toughest looking Cabal. I was like, yep. I wish that Destiny would go back to doing remember when you could get the big chainsword arm from the D1 Strike, the Cabal brothers, what are
Bond brothers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I looked at that was and like I'm in the middle of that bloody strike race, and the first thing I thought when I walked into that room and saw the boss was like, fuck, I wish there was a piece of armor that even remotely tried to capture the vibe of this, because it would be wild. Just fire everywhere, beautiful. I love it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was great. Another welcome addition to the strike rotation too, and sorely needed given that we've had a few drop off. And hopefully we sort of see some more PvP.
I like the little touches as well. You look out the ceiling in the boss room, you see Nessus trees going past, like the tanks actually moving through Nessus.
I'm going to have to go and take my time going through it again. And like everyone's into me too. Apparently the music is incredible, and I had mine turned off.
Yeah, the music's good.
I wanted to be able to hear the boys, and everyone's
it.
like, fucking why? You of all people. I don't know. I still haven't heard it, so I might jump on and give it a spin tonight before I get into playing trials or whatever I'm going to do. So obviously that's out. Iron Banner's here this week, visiting Destiny. So if you're in need of Pinnacles, go and do that. Obviously light level enabled content. If you're particularly low, you will feel it. But pertaining to Iron Banner, there's a blurb in the TWAB about lobby balancing, and then this is something that I do see kind of I don't know, it feels like the back end of every season when everyone gets bored with like all the actual content and we start just doing what the Destiny community does and falling back on debating things that are, like kind of long held points of contention. But effectively what it's trying to do is make for better matches in terms of team composition after the game has been put together. So it's not a change to skill-based matchmaking or anything like that. It's simply trying to make sure that, you don't get the three best players in that lobby of 12 on the same team and, dishing out an absolute slapping. Now, I'm a middle-of-the-road player, and I fully admit that. So for me, this doesn't make a huge difference because there's probably going to be someone better than me in the lobby. There's probably going to be someone worse, and I'll be put onto one of the teams here, there, or everywhere. But I can see why, to someone who is solo queuing and is a very, very good player, why this could be frustrating if they are constantly being put on, like if you've got you're the one guy and then there's 2, 3 serviceably good players on the other team and you're matched. And I mean, this is less likely than in Iron Banner, given it's a Sixers playlist, than something like Survival, where we've seen this kind of lobby balancing before. But I can see why it'd be a little bit of a punish. I hope that this alleviates some of that. I've got a feeling that it might not. I've got a feeling it might go the other way and it might end up being a little bit frustrating for some. But I don't know. You've got to crack eggs to make an omelette, don't you, boys?
I think it only really comes into play in solos. Because remember, you can't lobby balance when there's a 6 stack on one team.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's pretty broken. isn't it?
So
in that context,
that's
so it's
always
really
gonna be
just
an
the
issue
freelance
still.
playlist. I always found
Yeah.
like the freelance playlist is subject to the skill-based matchmaking anyway. I'd go in there and it's 1,000 times. I would rather load solo into the normal Iron Banner playlist than jump into the freelance one where it's just like, I don't know. It was when it first came out, I thought this is a great idea. And then I jumped in. I'm like, this is the sweatiest shit ever. Like, this isn't fun. This is fucking just really hard work. So now I just play solo in the main playlist. And I think a lot of people do.
Probably because most of the casuals don't notice it's a freelance and they just click the main one.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that may well be the case. Or, you know, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
So
probably
maybe
a big part
instead of
it.
having a solo queue, Destiny should just have one node. But if you're queuing solo, it loads you into that automatically.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be obviously a difficult fucking systemic thing to implement, but it's there.
Can I
think it's an option.
just
Yes.
just educate the audience on a very maybe this is worldwide, but it's definitely an Australian thing. Exactly what Log did. He went on a bit of a tear and he realized he had been talking solo for a little bit of time. And then it finishes the paragraph with, you got to crack eggs and make an omelet. Like, just a typical, like, just to get everyone to jump back in. Like, fuck, I've been talking for a bit. I better say a really iconic, fucking classic saying. She'll be right. Got to crack eggs and make an omelet.
I didn't even
Flaming
think about it. I didn't even think about it. It's just... I don't know. I mean, like, if you're over in the States or wherever you happen to be around the world, how confusing are our Australianisms? Is like, because I know that I'm terrible for them. I feel like there's probably at least once every stream I'll say something and people will be like, fucking what?
Yeah, I mean, crack eggs and make an omelet. That's universal. Surely that one. That's universal. But
that's pretty obvious.
There you go.
Is like, what about tighter than a bull's ass in fly season? Is that for someone who doesn't like spending money? Like, is that universal?
That's I think that's probably pretty Australian, that one, maybe. I don't know. Flat out like a lizard drinking.
Yeah. All right, we're going to stop this because it'll just end up derailing the entire fucking cast. All right, the other thing in the TWAB, we've got some Prime gaming rewards. I'll pull it up here. Here we go. Here's the stuff.
Dude, have you redeemed that? I haven't redeemed that since
I've never
week one.
redeemed it ever. I think I did the first one and I've just
week one
thought about it. Right, there's a couple of is that like you get the Huckleberry and then you get the Huckleberry skin? That's what it looks like.
Probably already have it though, don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I do. And you can get this. I don't know. Is that a Calliope ghost? I'm not sure. It looks nice. And then you can get this pretty shit looking little sheep. I can't sell it up. It's it's small and red.
How do you even do it again? I can't remember. How do you do it again?
You got to go to holiday, don't you? I think it's
you just claim it on Twitch Prime Gaming.
Yeah.
Then go speak to Holiday and just get them.
Like on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes actual effort though, so just count me and Matty out. That's
I already had all those stuff anyway, so
yeah, I can't see myself not having the stuff out of that I would want. But if you haven't, go and get it. Go and
yeah,
get
but
it.
someone big brained, what level will that fucking exotic drop at? That's a real question.
I was 1310 and it dropped 1310.
Ooh.
So it's probably on level.
Wow. Okay. It might be
So
handy.
if you need an on level kinetic, then that could help you.
Yeah, but like is it going to do anything for you that going and getting shit out of old season passes won't? Probably not. If you've got that stuff lying around. All right, cool. That about rounds out the TWAB. We don't need to talk about that anymore. Yeah, there's not much in the Destiny update reporty thing, whatever it's called. Can't remember. Yeah, good. All right, cool. We're going to open up the chat. If there's anything you want to discuss or you'd like to do, mainly ask of Butters, given that he's the incredibly competent guest this evening, today or whatever fucking time it is. I don't know. I'm flustered for some reason. Like, how do you get flustered an hour into a podcast that you host fucking 200 episodes of? There you go. It's weird. Matt, you talk. Fuck yeah.
Is it because I called you out and like on
It is because you know what? I'm like, what Australianism am I going to accidentally sneak in here? And I was like simultaneously not wanting to do it and then also kind of just wanting to make an entire sentence out of Australianisms that would make no sense to anyone except probably the three of us. And I put myself under too much pressure and now I've just outed myself as a bit of a cat. So sad about it.
Go down the servo, get yourself a durry, back and win your point.
Mate, go down the bowler, get myself a skewy, have a slap on the pokies. Oof.
There you go, got it out.
There you go, it's out of the system. I did go down the pub the other night, actually. It's fucking, I'm loving, like, no COVID life here. I'm just so glad that pubs and shit are back open. And they're starting to put bands on again and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Anyway. Matty, what's the in the law pipeline for this week? We don't need to go full blown into it. I just want to know are you only stealing bodies from Butters?
No, literally, I don't have any ideas right now.
Yeah, it's kind of getting to that point in the season, isn't it? Where the story arcs are relatively fleshed out, and
I took a week off too, so I missed the upload last week.
Oh wow, naughty!
I'm gonna miss. Oh fuck, it's gonna be 2 weeks. I'm gonna miss this week too.
Full-time streamer, go for it.
Sorry guys, YouTube's cancelled.
It's over. Had a good run. Cheers. Question from Ursa. Do you think the accuracy penalties make stasis still too strong? I haven't had like a heap of time to jump in and play a lot of PvP. I did play a bit of Iron Banner after the Strike event on Wednesday night, but I was playing with Sass and Aura and Terra and Nick, and we were 6 stacking, and every game was a mercy, and I wasn't even really contributing. So I don't know. I'll ask again next week, and I'll probably have a better take on it after playing a heap of trials tonight. So, yeah,
so someone came into my stream, right? And they're like, "You're shit at PvP." So what did I do? Challenged 1v1. Let's go, kid.
Did they take you up on your offer?
Yeah.
Right.
I did pretty good. I got beaten by the timer. I was down a bit, but literally shit talking me because I was on stasis in game. Oh my god, crutch! Every time I got to kill stasis, crutch stasis. He's probably a child, so let's not go there. But like, it's in the game, mate. Use it. Oh, and then when I did bet, then he said, "Oh, do you want me to put stasis on too?" I was like, "Motherfucker, using an air dash warlock, you're like an AC 130. You can cross the whole fucking map in about 2.5 seconds."
I don't think anyone using Dongblade can throw shit at anyone using anything else ever. Like, that has been probably the most consistently brutal class of all time.
You got what, ranged melee, roaming range super, and you're like uber quick in the air.
Yeah.
It's like the natural counter for stasis, which is trying to slow you down. For the warlock, you can still Icarus dash even in stasis and slow.
Yeah. Get wrecked, kid.
No, I'm glad.
And what we talking about? Stasis. Oh, no, so that was the thing he was. That was the thing he was complaining about. It's bullshit. The accuracy debuff with stasis was slow.
It is kind of dumb. I don't like that I can't shoot straight.
I don't know why it's there. I mean, I feel like the fact that you kind of slowed and relatively tied to a position anyway is enough of a penalty.
You're moving slow anyway, so you can't like strafe and dodge if you're in a gunfight. You got reload and handling nerf, so you can't swap weapons. If you got the wrong weapon out or something like that, it's hard to swap. And then you can't shoot back either. It feels like just a bit too much.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where I feel like I could just get rid of it and no one would miss it. Like, it's everyone would be relieved and no one would be like, "Oh, but I needed that to really be competitive," you know, as a user of the grenades and stuff. So I don't think it's a huge
issue. It still
issue.
makes stasis good. You're slowing the opponent. It's easy for you to shoot them. They can't strafe as much. So it's good for you using it still. This just means the opponent still has a chance to shoot back and hit their shots.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that'd be a reward for, a skilled player to be able to shoot their way out of that kind of shit situation. All right, what else?
If you're trapped in a stasis nade, you have the option of, fight or flight. Do you run out and, try and get away, or do you just stand there and kill the other person? Like, you can take that choice.
Totally agree. I feel like that's, I don't know. It surprises me that they didn't actually make that change already. They must have, I don't know, maybe in play testing, they felt that
There
it
were probably
was
too many fish to fry and everyone was whinging about other stuff. So now that it's better placed, people are now, this is the last thing we're really angry about because everything else, I don't know.
The Infinite Titan Super was definitely worse. So
yeah, and look, I transitioned off that like a month ago out of guilt. And I know that I like sit. I'm a big believer in people going like, if you're enjoying something, fucking do it. Like, fuck what people say. You know, have fun. It's a fucking video game at the end of the day. But I kind of knew, maybe it wasn't out of guilt. It was more out of like, this is definitely going to get fucking nerfed. I know it's going to get nerfed. And if I continue plowing along the way I have been with it and blindly spamming the shit out of this super, and it being the thing that pulls me out of trouble, there will come a week when it will not be there anymore and I will be fucked. So I've been back on Thunder Crash, Ballistic Slammy boy.
What class do you play, Buzz?
Hunter.
What do you think of the Hunter's stasis super?
Not great. We're talking PvE or PvP?
PvP.
PvP, not great. Because if you're using it on another super, if you don't kill them with the actual karma, whatever it's called, that you throw at them, they break out and they get out before the tornado does anything.
That's my thought exactly. That whole super is relied on the timing of people being frozen for a significant amount of time, and now that people break out so quickly, you only get kills if you freeze everyone in the area. Basically,
it's good for when people aren't in their super. If you're using it to shut down a super, though, you're probably not going to get the kill.
What do you reckon if they made it? It went for half as long, but it moved twice as fast. The tornado. So it was like, because you can just outrun it. You can just like fucking flat out. Oh, it's over there. I'm just gonna walk away from it.
You can walk fast.
I feel like the casting time is just so ridiculously long compared to other. You have a fucking cup of coffee by the time you press the button, walk away, come back. Hope your super's actually cast by the time it's done. And then because I've nerfed freezing so much, like, and the fucking tornado is so slow, it's more of just a controlling super.
If they had it as fast as Blade Barrage, where both came out as fast as Blade Barrage did, it would actually be a lot better.
Yeah,
because when you freeze the person on the first one and then throw the second one, you can shatter dive. So you could probably shatter dive the person that you froze before they break out. If it was quicker.
I feel like that would be. Yeah, but like even then, like it's not going to lead you.
It should be good.
Yeah, it should be good. Like, and it's not going to be broken in that. Like, how many people can you hit with that initial thing? One and smash them. Who cares? Like,
yeah.
It's not like when you consider where the fucking Titan was that you could kill literally. I killed fucking a team in comp twice in the space of one super. Like I wiped all of their lives in one super. And at that point I was like, this is fucking incredibly broken. If I can do that, fuck knows what competent people can do. So like, I don't know. I do feel like that. And I played on my Hunter. I played Stasis Hunter first card that I did on last Saturday night. So like I actually agree. I'm not even going to stand here and take the piss and try and stir Matty up. We're going to say that I agree. I also think that it's not really an easy thing to hit someone with that fucking thing because it's an awkward amount of time that it takes to actually throw the thing out. So like expect it to be aiming and then push the button and it go bang and hit, but it doesn't. It's
for some reason like it gives you a huge boost in the air too. So the amount of times I've hit my head on fucking like a tiny like rock or beam or something, then I've thrown it straight into a fucking beam. I don't know why. Has that Hunter momentum on when you cast it, whoop, and you just like keep going straight up when you cast it.
I don't know. I mean, it's probably
the neutral game Hunter's good though.
Yes.
Double shurikens, the dodge.
Yes, that's basically the only reason I use it. So this is why I'm bringing this up. Eventually, you're going to get the point where everyone keeps complaining about stasis, and the neutral game of Hunter will be absolute dog shit, and there'll be no reason to fucking run stasis, and everyone will be like, "Yay, no more stasis," and then that'll be it. And then we can
honestly, there is no need for them to even focus on stasis from this point on when you've got Chaos Reach Warlocks.
I think so. I haven't seen
Oh
them. I
my
haven't-
god! Go and get absolutely pounded by them in trials. Every single game there will be one on the other team.
Real?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are just.
They kill behind walls.
Right, yeah, that's the other thing too, is that the hit detection for it and the it hitting the fucking walls is just rank. I know that they've supposedly fixed it, but yeah, it's cool.
It's
that
not.
when it happens.
You're crouching behind a wall. They can't see you, and you die.
Pew.
Yeah, it's a pretty desolate, a pretty horrible fail. I did. It was the other class that I used when I did my 3 wins to get the igneous hammer on the warlock. I used Chaos Reach because I thought, fuck this, I'm just going to be part of the problem for a little bit. And I got some. I don't know. It's a weird thing to use coming from like a Titan where you just literally punch the shit out of everything or throw a hammer in someone's face. But yeah, it doesn't feel very challenging to use. I'll say that. It's kind of just like point your face in a direction that could be half the map, and then just move your mouse rapidly from side to side and spray the universe with your intent to kill it, and they'll all die, and that's the end.
It's like a mini game.
You don't even need to tag them for long, so you're just
It's like
spinning
instant
around
death.
and spraying everywhere.
Yeah.
You just kill everything.
It's like basically you're turning the warlock into the head of a fucking unrestrained garden hose, just on football, just fucking flopping around like nobody's business. That's how it feels to me, anyway. I don't know. I'll probably do it again tonight. I know that I've complained about it, but if you run up against me in trials this evening and I'm running a fucking Chaos Reach warlock, I don't know. Just go and throw the round, I suppose. All right. Well, look, I don't know if is there anything else that you guys want to touch on before we wrap this puppy up?
Did you hear that I did solo prophecy for
Oh, I thought you were actually going to contribute
No,
something to
what
this
a
fucking
gamer.
what without anarchy? My lord. Who wants to do account recov? Fucking give me anarchy, please.
How do you
When
not
you-
have
When do you stream Butters?
it? 5 p.m. onwards every night.
What if,
Raid help?
yeah, so you
Yeah.
just have to run a heap of raids to then be able to buy it, right?
I've got to get tokens, yeah.
Yeah,
Even
I'm
if you
gonna-
do 0 raids, you can get Anarchy after 8 weeks.
What do you mean?
Deepstone Crypt, first chest on each character. You can do that solo. Just go do the sparrow part. Grab the chest at the end. That's 10 spoils. 3 characters, 30. 8 weeks, that's 240.
What do I look like? A fucking mathematician?
I mean, this is probably the other component of Butters that we haven't really spoken about and features somewhat prevalently in his stream is spreadsheets. And working not necessarily this kind of stuff out, but you're a detail oriented person, and in that context, I'm going to do that from now on, maybe if I remember, which is probably not. I feel like it's an easy win. There you go, 8 weeks, mate.
Well, obviously, if you do raids, it's even better. But if you don't get the chest, I'm sure there'll be people in chat who would help you. Just go grab the first chest and then leave.
You could solo it, Matthew. Come on.
Yeah.
You've done prophecy by yourself flawless. You can.
Like, if you don't know the route, it's probably annoying.
Yeah, but
if you've got someone who shows you, it's quite easy.
this is my soul leaves my body every time. It's like I'm forced to do an activity I don't want to do because I need X equipment to do the activity I do want to do.
But that's the thing.
It's like
You
SRL.
do want
It's
to do
fun.
it because you want the gun, and you've just got to tell yourself that. It's all about how you position it in terms of.
Just pretend
know
you're
what?
loading into an SRL game, and it's a chest at the end to complete it. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun.
No. Look, I think he makes a very valid point. It's all in the mind. You just got to tell yourself this is fun.
I actually like it. I'll be honest. I like the sparrow section.
I've not done it solo, so I don't really have a comment. But I do like the sparrow section in general. So I think Matty can do that. Matty can do that. Get his anarchy, and then be a real big boy gamer. What do you reckon?
Or you can do raids as well.
I'm just gonna fucking nag Butters when he's streaming. Hollywood it.
Carry me. Make sure you tell him to fuck off, Butters, please. Sorry. You go and fucking source a raid in your own stream. All right, we might wrap it up there. Butters, thank you very much for joining us, dude. It's been an absolute pleasure to get you on and have a chat. It's been great.
Thank you. Been
Thanks for
very
coming
fun.
on, mate.
Appreciate the invite.
No worries. We're going to have to make a habit out of it. It's one of those things that I've been sort of slowly lining up the stars to do is to get something a bit more consistent going on the DDU and tied in with, like the ANZ Destiny stuff, because I think there's a lot of synergies that we leave to die on the table in that respect. So we'll be doing that a hell of a lot more from now on. So yeah, it's a thing. Matty, what are you doing this week? Just PvE god tier gaming? Is that your strategy?
Well, yeah, wait, do we even speak about my PhD?
No, we're banning it this week. It's just like a.
Oh, right.
I believe it.
Didn't people put bets on?
I believe it's good news, so we don't want to hear it.
Answer: is it done?
Just give us a Russell Crowe thumbs up or thumbs down, like fucking.
like everything in the PhD, it's sort of done. I've actually finished writing. I went to submit it on Friday night. The university, geez Louise, their online systems are completely fucked. I had to ring someone to work out how to do the plagiarism, turn it in, the plagiarism check on it. I had to ring somebody and say, where the fuck do I find this fucking link, you cucks? I didn't say that part, but I asked that very nicely. Go here, click here, go through there. Anyway, you wouldn't believe it. Only in a university, the highest tier of education, does an AI system take over 24 hours to check your work. So I had to submit it, let it process. It probably sends to some elderly man in the library that manually checks my PhD somehow through fucking cross-referencing hard copy fucking journals or some shit, and then sends it back and says, yep, you're good to go. So I've actually got them back, and then I've got to send them off to my supervisor, and then she's got to check them, and then I've got to write 74 years of logs. Oh, don't worry about it. Anyway,
The thing that I'm thinking is, right, do you want to know the fucking most punishing irony of all of this? Is that one day you are going to get your doctorate, and they're going to send you a certificate, and you're not even going to be able to show people because it'll have your name on it, and it'll dox you if you do. So people would just have to, you could say right now, I've done it and it's done, and no one would be any the wiser.
You better fucking call me Dr. Games. Every time you see me.
Dr. Marlin Games.
Dr. Marlin or Dr. Games?
I've told you this story that Lego, that was the lead guitarist in my band for many years, went on and got his doctorate in psychology. And we used to have this joke because we used to bully him mercilessly because it's a band and that's what you do. And he was 2 years younger than the rest of us. And we said, like, when you go and get your doctorate, then we'll respect you. And he's had it for a long time and nothing's ever changed. That was a decade ago. We still fucking bully him. Butters, where can people find you, man? I glossed over that. That was on my bad. Where, you're on every day from 5 p.m. Aussie time, EADT at the moment.
Yep, so on Twitch, Butters with 3 T's, every night, 5 p.m. ish, maybe sometimes late, maybe.
Sometimes late.
Sometimes.
You're almost
a little
always
bit of a meme
on.
in our, people who are here early in my streams. Sometimes they're not exactly on time, but around that time.
You are often still on when I get off, and that's normally pretty late. So I think that there's
I go very, very late.
You catch the American morning audience pretty effectively.
Yeah. Sometimes go until reset. Not often.
Oh, fucking hell. Fair enough. I guess if it's what you're doing for a crust, you might as well, mate. That's rad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we might piss off out of here. Matt has abandoned telling people where the law will find them. So sadly, we don't have a conventional closing for this episode. So I feel like
the law will find you if you are a solo flawless prophecy dungeon master completer. Marlin Games.
That's where it is.
That was like the worst bit of fan service ever, and the only fan was Matt. All right, fuck this. We're out of here. Have a good week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming on, Butters.